for coming today. We're happy to see so many of you. And today's program, with the permission of the entertainers, is being videotaped and will be shown at a later date on our local channel, Cable 3. And we owe that to our friend from the video club, none other than Mr. Jim Cloud. Rose Moore back there is anxious to sell some candy. She has nothing but hot specials today, so be sure and patronize her. City of Hope needs the money. Those of you who belong to the City of Hope, I say thank you for helping others, that someday they may be helping you, and I'm an example of being helped. Thank you. Those of you who are not members, we urge you to join. You've never spent $1 for a better cause than paying for the City of Hope. I was out there recently on a visit, and I can tell you, your $10 is being used better advantage than any place that I've seen. Today we're going to honor our very super former president of 14 years serving, Mr. Jules Feingold.
We're going to be presenting some life membership awards today. I'd like to first present the one that should have been presented last February, I believe, but it was so badly misspelled, I would not bring it out. So, Rose Lewin-Levy, would you please come up? Where's our photographer? Mr. Photographer! Mr. Photographer!
Today's photographer is John Jaffe. Our regular photographer is out of town.
I can nag because it's my husband. Anyway, while he is getting that, I will read the letter that is presented with this. You have now joined those who have committed themselves to the broadening of the horizons for health, humanitarianism, and hope for all mankind. It is said, without vision, a people must perish. The avowed objective of the City of Hope and the life membership for a New Horizons expansion program is to relieve pain, prolong life, effect cures, all to the goal of human betterment. You may wear your life membership with pride. It symbolizes that you are one of those whose belief and performance today holds the hope and promise of tomorrow. And it is with great pleasure that I present these to Rose.
Jules, I must tell you I'm an amateur at this. I've never done this before, because I've never been president of City Hope before either. But you in the past 14 years have done a job outstanding. Everything you've done was for the benefit of the City of Hope. You dedicated a good portion of your life to this fine organization, for which I can vouch for 100%, having been there over 2 years myself. And in recognition of your dedication and service to the City of Hope, Legion World Chapter 694, as president for 14 years, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We're presenting you today with these bookends, and I know that you will put them to good use, and they'll be a reminder always, City of Hope. You want to say a few words? I hope you will.
Thank you, Walter. Those are kind words. You know, I have to tell you a story. First place, Reba, I thank you for your card. Lovely. I went into the doctor's office the other day, and the nurse said, I saw your picture in the paper. Oh, you look real nice. Can I have your autograph? I said, yes, $25 to the City of Hope. You know, I must tell you, it's easy to be a president. Always easy to be a president. When right behind you, to keep you from ever falling down, is the most magnificent group of officers and members that I have ever encountered. So my thanks don't come to me, my thanks go to you. Now the greatest thing that we could ever do, and the greatest single word that tells the story of all of us, is the word volunteer. We are all volunteers, marvelous volunteers, wonderful volunteers, always willing to work, always willing to help. And I tell you, this really makes me appreciate the fact that you brought me here today for this honor. And I learned one thing. You know, the best and finest thing that anyone can ever do is do something for someone else. I thank you all for all of this.
Those of you who went by the marquee today, you'll notice Mr. Feingold's name was right up there. We will be serving refreshments, thanks to Ada arranging for the cakes. There will be punch as well as coffee. So after the program, relax, enjoy. It's a lazy Sunday afternoon. Stay around a while. We will adjourn the meeting now. It'll be about 5 minutes to...
I've always taken credit for what's due me. But now I have to hang my head in shame because I could never have done all this work without my lovely wife, Fran, who is standing there helping me. There she is. And today, my son is visiting me. Sherwin, would you please stand? If you notice, he's wearing dark glasses. He happens to be a Hollywood celebrity and doesn't want everybody to jump all over him for signatures. Outside of that, that's fun.
Thank you, Jules. In honor of Jules, today we have a check from the Sufferanos, Ada and Dominic, and we thank them for helping the City of Hope as they always do. Thank you. Now we're ready to introduce our entertainment for today. Their very first appearance in Leisure World Seal Beach, ladies and gentlemen. This is a self-contained musical group comprised of Andy, Joni, and Larry, our family, making the statement that family can still live, work, and play together, and yet continue to maintain personal individuality out of mutual respect for each other. Joni is a trumpet player and vocalist. Andy is on drums and vocalizes. Larry plays the guitar and bass, with some vocalizing too. They have appeared on television and have a new CD and tape album recently published entitled Standing Room Only. Please relax now and enjoy, and let's give a nice warm first-time welcome to the Strikers.
Good afternoon, folks. How are you? We're happy to be here with you today, folks, and we're going to have a great time.
Hi, City of Hope. We are Andy, Joni, and Larry, the Strikers, and so many people ask us all the time, who are we, where are we, how long are we performing together, how did we get to work together? And all these answers will be in the lyrics of this song. Enjoy.
Put your hands together, clap along. extra, read all about it. We're the Strikers and we're gonna shout it. Now here's the news, we're just delighted. We're gonna have a blast and you're invited. There's oldies and newies, you can make a safe bet that we'll be singing some songs that aren't written yet. There'll be hips shaking, butt bumping, hand clapping, body jamming, toe tapping, finger snapping. Striker music makes it happen. Strikers together more than 26 years, that's how we like it. Together sharing laughter and tears. Every season, the reason simple as it can be. Are you ready for this? We are a family. We are family. Everybody get up and sing. We are family. Andy, Joni, Larry making harmony. We are family. We're mother and brothers, you see. I said we are family. Come along and join the Striker Jubilee. Everyone you can see we're together, and that's the way we are. If there be stormy weather, beyond the rain shines the brightest star. Give respect for the next human being. What's your highest key? We suspect you collect all the treasures you see. We're in our family, because we are family. Everybody get up and sing. We are family. Andy, Joni, Larry making harmony. Yeah, we are family. We're mother and brothers, you see. We are family. Come along and join the Striker Jubilee. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Willkommen, bienvenue. Welcome. Plein d'air, étranger. Stranger. Les plus aïeux, je suis enchanté. Happy to see you. Live, restez, stay. Willkommen, bienvenue. Welcome. In cabaret, au cabaret, to cabaret.
Meine Damen und Herren, Mesdames et Messieurs, ladies and gentlemen, comment ça va, you gates? Do you feel good? There might be problems on the outside. True, leave them out the door. Because right here, right now, we're all together, as in the city of hope. And when we're together, life is truly, truly beautiful. Bonsoir, willkommen, bienvenue, welcome. In cabaret, au cabaret, to cabaret.
much, ladies and gentlemen. It's certainly a great honor to be here and share this wonderful time. This next song that we do has a great message. It says, be sure to tell the truth, because it's a sin to tell a lie. Be sure it's true when you say, I love you. That's it. It's a sin to tell a lie. Millions of hearts have been broken just because these words have been spoken. I love you, yes I do. I love you. If you break my heart, I'll die. So be sure it's true when you say I love you. It's a sin to tell a lie. So be sure it's true when you say I love you. It's a sin to tell a lie. Millions of hearts have been broken just because these words have been spoken. I love you, yes I do. I love you. If you break my heart, I'll die. So be sure it's true when you say I love you. It's a sin to tell a lie. It's a sin to tell a lie. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
We're going to go through about 100 years worth of music, not necessarily in chronological order. Now, we're going to go back to the war years. Now, there's absolutely nothing that is nice about war, except strangely enough, some of the most beautiful music ever written comes out of the war years, because probably the need to feel better. Sing with us on these songs. I know you remember. Set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame in your heart. And in my heart I have but one desire, and that one is you. Others will do. You see, I've lost all ambition for worldly acclaim. I just want to be the one you love. And with your admission that you'll feel the same, I'll have reached the goal I'm dreaming of. My dearest, I don't want to set the world on fire. Just want to start a flame in your heart. Remember this one. Thank you. Till then, my daughter, please wait for me. there will be. Till then, we'll count on each memory. Till then, until the world will be free, please away. Till then, until then.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, a funny thing happened, folks. Just as I was walking into the building a little bit earlier, one of the ladies did it. She looked at me and she says, "You know something, son? You look very, very familiar." I said, "Well," I says, "there's a good chance that you might have seen me, you know, the different places that we've played." She says, "No, no, no." She says, "You remind me of my 5th husband." I said, "Lady, how many times have you been married?" She said, 4 times. But she also asked if we would do a song for her that she has not heard. Probably many of you have not heard in about 30 years, but you're going to know what the song is right off the bat, so you're welcome to sing along and clap along with us.
Let's see if you know what it is. Abba dabba. Here we go.
Abba dabba 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 dabba, said the monkey to the chip. Abba dabba 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 dabba, said the chip into the monk. All day long they chatter away, all day long so happy and gay, singing and swinging in a honky-tonky way. Oh, dabba 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 dabba, said the chip, I love but you. Dabba dabba monkey talking chip, I love you too. And a big baboon one-nighting Jew married them and very soon they went along their dabba dabba honeymoon. Oh yeah. Dabba dabba dabba, said the chip, I love but you. Dabba dabba monkey talking chips, I love you too. And a big baboon one-nighting Jew married them and very soon they went along their dabba dabba honeymoon. Yeah, the big baboon one-nighting Jew married them and very soon they went along their dabba dabba honeymoon.
All right, folks, this one's a request for my brother. Here's a Looney Tune about that crazy moon that happens to be in June.
Well, it's only a paper moon sailing over a cosmos sea. But would we make believe if you believed in me? Well, it's only a canvas sky hanging over a muslin tree. But would we make believe if you believed in me? Without your love, it's a honky-tonk parade. Without your love, well, it's a melody played in a penny arcade. It's a bottom and a belly world, just as stony as it can be. What would we make believe if you believed in me?
Right, here's a lesson for that.
fairly well, just as phony as it can be. But when we make believe if you believe in me, but when we make believe if you believe in me, but when we make believe if you believe in me.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is plenty of room. Let's rumba. Come on. This is a celebration. ¿Quién será la que me quiera a mí? ¿Quién será? ¿Quién será? ¿Quién será la que me dé su amor? Come on. ¿Quién será? ¿Quién será? Yo no sé si la podré encontrar. Yo no sé, yo no sé. Yo no sé si volveré a querer. Yo no sé, yo no sé. Everybody. He querido volver a vivir la pasión y el de otro amor, de otro amor que me hiciera sentir, que me hiciera feliz, como hacerlo, quién será la que me quiera. ¿Quién será? ¿Quién será? ¿Quién será la que me dé su amor? ¿Quién será? ¿Quién será? ¡Olé! Volver a vivir la pasión y el de otro amor que me hiciera sentir, que me hiciera feliz, como hacerlo, y cuál será la que me quiera a mí. ¿Quién será? ¿Quién será? ¿Quién será la que me dé su amor? ¿Quién será? ¿Quién será? Make me feel as only you know. Sway this fool, sway me now. ¿Quién será la que me dé su amor? ¿Quién será? ¿Quién será? Thank you.
All right, all you singers, here's one lady.
It's the shame. Let me explain. My being is the shame. Is that your plan?
There we go.
My being is the shame. Again, I'll explain. You're the finest in heaven.
This means a partner.
I could say Bella, Bella, you can say everybody's language only helps me tell you how glad you are. I'll try to explain. I'm being is the shame. So kiss me and say you'll understand. Oh yeah. I could say Bella, Bella, you could say wonderbar. Language only helps me tell you how grand you are. I try to explain. My being is the shame. So kiss me and say you'll understand.
What's going on here, folks?
We heard that the City of Hope Mill knows how to dance. Okay, folks, right now Larry is going to sing one of the greatest songs ever written and recorded. Why don't you tell the folks about it, Mike?
We had a request earlier for a little Frank Sinatra. And in fact, Frank Sinatra asked me to do this one today for you. So, we're going to take a little trip with the summer winds.
Let's dance.
The summer wind came blowing in from across the sea. It lingered there to touch your hair and walk with me. All summer long we sang a song and strode the golden sand to sweethearts and the summer wind. Like painted kites, the days and nights went driving by. The world was new under a blue umbrella sky. Then softer than a piper man one day, he called to you. I lost you to the summer wind. Have come and gone, and still the days, those lonely days go on and on. And guess who sighs his lullabies through nights that never end? I'm fickle friend, the summer wind. The summer wind. My fickle friend, the summer wind.
Thank you, Larry. Right now we're going to do a song that was popularized by the late, nonetheless great, Miss Sophie Tucker, the last of the Red Hot Mamas. Yeah?
You mean you folks have heard of her?
Sing with us. Some of these days you're gonna miss me, honey. Some of these days you're gonna feel so lonely. You're gonna miss my hugging. You're gonna miss my kissing. You're gonna miss me, baby, when you're away. You're gonna feel so lonely, just one only. 'Cause you know, honey, you had your way. Oh yeah, you did. And if you leave me, my gosh, it's gonna break me. In about 3 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, is the super City of Hope Strikers sing-along. We're going to pass out song sheets. Be right with you. Oh, yeah.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. It's a pleasure to see all my good friends here once again in the City of Hope. Ladies and gentlemen, as I look around the room, I see all you fine folks here, and it reminds me of one gigantic family, and I think you ought to give yourselves a hand for that, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, speaking of family, I too come from a very, very large family, and I never ever slept alone until I got married. Ladies and gentlemen, something funny happened to my mother. When my mother, Carmelita, turned 65 years old, the woman suddenly got chutzpah, a spurt of life. My father was wondering what was going on. All of a sudden, my mother is going to the malls, to all the stores. She is buying the shortest skirts, the highest heels, and the tightest fitting clothes. My father says, uh-huh. All right, Carmelita, I know what you're up to. As soon as I pass away, you're going to start fooling around with younger guys. You're going to start spending all of my hard-earned money. But I'll tell you, Carmelita, it's not going to happen, because one way or the other, I'm going to dig my way out of the grave, I'm going to scratch your claw, and I am going to get you. You know what my mother said to him? Dig all you want, I'm going to bury you upside down. Ladies and gentlemen, just remember, if any of you are having any type of problem with your Social Security or your Medicare, come and see me. I'll make you an offer you can't refuse. Thank you, arrivederci.
Thank you so very much, Marlon, and watch for Marlon's next thriller, no matter what that may be. All right, and now, ladies and gentlemen, direct from the New York stage, from the Friars Club, somebody who's been making us happy with his patter and snappy fiddle for many, many, many years, the one and only king of the one-liners, Mr. Henny Youngman.
Hiya, folks. Good evening, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, on the count of three, I want everyone here to give me a great big hiya, Henny. 1, 2, 3. Oh, you can feel the excitement. Folks, I just got back from a pleasure trip. I took my mother-in-law to the airport. Folks, I love the mother dearly. I love my mother-in-law, but you know, every week she comes over the house and it's the same old thing. Henny, do this, Henny, do that, nag, nag, nag. I try to be polite and I said, Ma, my home is your home. I came home last week and she sold it. Folks, I am proud to announce that after 52 years this week, I have been in love with the same woman for 52 years. If my wife finds out, she'll kill me. Ladies and gentlemen, take my wife, please. The other day she says, Henny, I gotta get in shape. I gained a few pounds. She says, so go out and buy me one of those rowing machines. I buy her the machine. She starts rowing and rowing and it sank. What can I tell you, folks? The other night, my wife tried to seduce me. She said, Henny, I got something special for you. The next thing I know, she takes all her clothes off and wraps up her body in saran wrap. She said, Henny, what do you think? I said, what, leftovers again? It's a funny world out there, folks. Folks, the other day I took my grandkid to the heliport. He wanted to learn how to fly a helicopter. He gets the chopper up 100 feet, 200 feet, 500 feet in the air. The chopper crashes to the ground. We run over to the helicopter. The kid comes crawling out. We said, what happened? He said, oh, it got chilly up there, so I turned the fan off. Folks, something happened the other day in New York City, right on Broadway. A big Texan walked into Max's Carnegie Deli. He said, excuse me, partner, what's today's special? Max looks at him and says, well, today we got beef tongue on rye with mustard.
He says, what?
He says, beef tongue on rye with mustard. The Texan looks at him and says, you mean to tell me you want me to eat a cow's tongue with mustard on rye bread? He says, sure, it's great. He says, forget it, pal, that's disgusting. Just give me 2 eggs. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure entertaining you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Henny. And please, when you go to the library or the bookstore, look for Henny's book. It's out. It's Take My Life, Please. It's wonderful. And he previewed it on our television show in the East, which was The Strikers Tonight. Okay, does anybody remember the Colgate Comedy Hour? Absolutely. Sunday nights, 8 o'clock, Channel 4. And there was Martin and Lewis, and there was, who else? Help me out. Donald O'Connor, Abbott and Costello, Eddie Cantor. There was one guy who used to frequent the Club Durant. You know who he is, and he's back here for a comeback visit just for you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Schnozzola himself, Mr. Jimmy Durante.
Hello! Ha-cha-cha-cha-cha! Everybody clap your hands. You gotta start off each day with a song. Well, even when things go wrong, well, you'll be better. You'll even feel better. I'm here to tell you that you'll be a go-getter from the way that you shake my hand. That's gonna tell me just how I stand. Well, isn't it better to go through life with a smile in the song than walking around with a face 11 miles long? Now you know that you can't go wrong. Well, if you start off each day with a song, you got to start off each day with a song. Yes, sir. Stop the music, stop the music. Folks, something funny happened to me about 10 minutes ago. I was walking around in the lobby. The next thing I know, some man has his hand in my pocket. I said, excuse me, sir, can I help you? He said, I needed to use a match. I said, why didn't you ask me for one? He said, I don't talk to strangers. Folks, the other day I went to the doctor. I had a terrible headache. I said, Doc, what's wrong with me? He says, Durante, you're nuts. I says, nuts, I says, I want a second opinion. He says, okay, you're ugly too. Ladies and gentlemen, something funny happened the other day. A good friend of mine came up to me. He says, Durante, I have got a terrible headache. What should I do for him? I says, well, you ought to do what I do. When I have a headache, I go home and I rest my head upon my wife's bosom for half an hour. Next thing I know, the headache is gone. 3 days later, the guy comes up to me. He says, Durante, I don't know how to thank you enough. You're absolutely right. The headache went away. And by the way, you have a beautiful apartment. Folks, right in Miami Beach last week, a couple was walking along the beach. The man turns to his wife and says, honey, I can't remember things anymore. I'm losing it. I can't even remember how old I am. His wife looks at him and says, well, you want to know how old you are? He says, yes, tell me. She says, if you want to know how old you are, you have to drop your drawers, spin around 3 times, and bend over. He says, what are you talking about? We're on the public beach. If you want to know how old you are, that's what you got to do. The man drops his drawers, spins around 3 times, bends over. She looks at him and says, you're 78 years old. He says, you can tell all by that. She says, no, you told me yesterday. It's a crazy world, folks. Just remember when you're feeling a little down and a little blue, these words of advice. You gotta start off each day with a song. You gotta start off each day. You start off each day. You start off each day with a song. Thank you, folks, and good night, Mrs. Calabash.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. Thank you very, very much. We look forward to your return engagement. Ladies and gentlemen, now this next performer started in the art of burlesque. Now I say art. It was an art form. It wasn't just a girl getting on a stage and taking off her clothes and bumping and grinding. Oh, it was that. Okay. See, I remember, I'm old enough to remember burlesque because I grew up in Newark, New Jersey with the Minskys and the Adams. Anyone from around that area? Where were you from? Oh my God, Springfield Avenue. Okay. Well, anyway, burlesque was wonderful Latin dance teams and super comedy teams and timing. It was the last throes of vaudeville. However, this performer started in burlesque and went to stage, screen, theater, movies, everything. As a matter of fact, is renewing her role on Broadway in Hello, Dolly. Let's have a great, big, warm City of Hope cheer for the one and only Miss Carol Channing.
Stop it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to see all my friends here once again today. And in all due respect to Mr. Henny Youngman, my husband is so stupid he thought herpes was a Greek philosopher. Ladies and gentlemen, won't you please sing along with me one of my favorite songs. This one's called Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. Everyone, clap along. A kiss on the hand may be quite continental, but diamonds are a girl's best friend. A kiss may be grand, but it won't pay your rental on your humble flat, or help you at the automat. Men grow cold as girls grow old, and we all lose our charms in the end. But square or pear-shaped, these rocks won't lose their shape. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Does anybody remember Andy the drummer? Does anybody remember Andy who was here before? He seems to have disappeared about 10 minutes ago. I don't know where he is. So if anybody sees it, oh, there he is. Hi, Andy. Welcome back.
Thank you, folks. Funny thing happened to me in the lobby before. Some guy had his hand in my pocket. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the famous City of Hope Strikers Sing-Along Contest. What we are going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is we are going to divide the room in half. This will be side A, this will be team B. Whichever team today sings the loudest will win.
I wanna be singing the sunshine, the breeze curtains sweet and low. Somehow I feel your love is real. Swanee, here we go.
Oh, Swanee, how I love you, my dear old Swanee. I give the world to thee. I'm on the phone.
Here we go.
D-I-X-I-E-N-O-Y. Waiting for me, down by the Swanee. Sun came missing, don't be late. That's why I can hardly wait. Open up that open gate, California, here I come. Sun came missing, don't be late. That's why I can hardly wait.
Open up.
Open up that open gate, California, here I come. Forever and peace may you wait. To the end of the month, the land I love, the home of the free and the brave. Every heart beats true for the red, white, and blue, and there's never a post or